Hello, welcome to a Dungeon Defenders 2 video. In this video, I just wanted to put out some theories which, a theory which I actually am thinking of based on the information given to me by, well, Dungeon Defenders. Now, the information that I actually acquired is basically, well, from this very tavern, and based on everything that once you've completed the campaign, like, it's actually like you are given certain plot points that actually reveal somewhat of a story. So a bit of a spoiler alert if you actually have played if you haven't beaten the campaign yet. So I think so basically what I was doing is I was basically just completing my dailies, getting those out of the way, getting some Defender medals, and I was like, okay, I'm finished now. I just wait for my other dailies, and I was just looking around, and I noticed that excuse me. I noticed that if you actually look around, you'll actually see portraits that are hanging around, and these are actually not just random portraits. Actually, they have a certain meaning behind them. I don't know what the meaning is, so I just started looking like around to see what the portraits are, like basically different types of portraits. I found this room which I didn't even know existed in the back cellar. Is that the cellar? I imagine it's the cellar. It's obviously locked. So now obviously we know that there are two types of heroes. There are the heroes that existed beforehand, if you actually like when the threat actually existed the first time, before the actual heroes like the squire and the huntress and the monk and the apprentice. So we do know that there were 4 other heroes that, well, basically fought a battle beforehand, and and I believe that one of them is also right here. I think one of them is this guy. And this guy is also the dad of the squire. So basically it's father and son. And how I know this is basically if you go to... there is a room. Where is that room? If you go... oh, I lost the room. Where is that room? How do I keep losing things in such a small area? Ah, there we go. So there is this room here that I found. I didn't even know this was a thing. So these are basically bedrooms. We have a variety of weapons. We have Thor's hammer over here, some kind of crest, whatever this thing is, sailing, and we have this picture here, which is basically these two guys here being happy, smiling, cheering, and doing some cheers, and based on their armor makeup, we can assume that these two are basically, you know, like maybe father and son. It would make sense. So if that is the case, then I guess we do have, like, you know, like the people who fought before in the first battle. Okay, yeah, it actually like they were the ones who actually fought the first fight. But we do know that after the fight was somewhat over, there was this other figure who actually like existed, who we actually fight. The hooded figure in purple that you fight, the Harbinger that you fight. I think he either turns into the Harbinger or he takes the form. So we are to assume that that those heroes are still here, since this guy is still here, like kicking. I mean, we can assume that the other ones are also here. And then as I was exploring around, I found this. So this is actually a painting that I'm actually very interested in, because if you actually look at it, these are actually not the heroes that we actually know. These are actually not the same heroes that we play as. You'll actually notice that the monk here has, well, he has somewhat of an armor, and he also has a spear that has, I think that's a halberd or something, with like a sharp thingy. You'll notice the huntress here actually is not using a bow, but a crossbow. This looks like a gun type bow. This guy over here is in full armor with the exception of his pants. You'll actually notice that his pants are, well, he's wearing underpants instead of his slacks, which is the opposite of this guy. This guy he's wearing like full armor on his below, and he's actually wearing like just whatever those thing, like a tank top on like his chest. So basically he's the opposite of that guy. And then we have this guy here. This weird looking figure, this dark looking figure with a weird little crystal on his staff, and he's not very happy. Let's be honest. And it actually hit me. What if this guy right here is actually the villain? What if this guy is actually the guy who is basically the hooded figure, which would explain how he knew about the crystal that the king had on his crown and why he took it, and why he's been actually trying so hard to make him surrender it, because he actually fought for the king for a very long time since the old battles. And we also see this cane here and a sword and a flower. Okay, this just leads outside. I don't know if these two are actually accidental. But yeah, what if this guy is actually one of the bad guys? Because he seems to know a lot about about basically what happened in the past, and he also he seemed to knew the king a lot, since he actually we actually learned that in the end he tried really hard. He didn't just kill him, he actually tried very hard to make him surrender the crystal that was on his head, the Eternia crystal, whatever that thing was. So what if like this guy is the bad guy? So we already know that we already have one of these guys, who he's over here. I haven't seen the other two heroes. We can assume that they're their parents, which would actually make, if they're all the parents of the existing heroes that we are able to play, then that would make this guy the apprentice's dad, and that would make his dad the villain, which is another interesting little thing. So this is just based on the information that I see from the environment, and just, you know, like the way it makes sense into my head. But I would like to know what you guys think about this. What do you think that the significance of this portrait is? I mean, I know portraits are there for a reason. The developers wouldn't put them there just, you know, just idly by. And it's an interesting thing to actually find these portraits just hidden around in the environment. I'm really curious to see what actually what I might have missed, like in the in some of the other like maybe in actually the town, like in the hub world. And this is also another little painting that I find interesting. You'll actually see the heroes that were actually like fighting to acquire this crystal, which I can imagine is an Eternia crystal. It kind of looks a little bit too like, it kind of looks a little bit bigger and less of a gem and more like a diamond than an actual like Eternia crystal that we are actually aware of. And this figure here with the wings and the horns, I don't recall seeing this creature before. I don't think we fought. This is definitely not the Harbinger. The Harbinger was armored and was basically heavily armored, and he looked kind of like, I don't know, kind of like the Void Walkers or the Void Lord from Warcraft. But this thing is actually an entirely new figure, maybe an enemy that we have yet to actually like face. And the way he's actually positioned on the crystal is the Eternia crystal, like did it actually make him like awaken? I mean, I don't remember. I've skipped the story so many times after seeing it the first time, but I don't remember if the Eternia crystals were responsible for like keeping some kind of creature away. So it'd actually be interesting to know, like, is there like a boss that we haven't faced yet, which would actually be interesting to actually see. But that's that's basically my version of a theory, which I thought was actually very interesting, and I thought it was actually cool to find information about that just might have like they actually might have some information as to maybe what happened in the past, and maybe the direction in which the developers might be trying to go for. Or it could just be a complete incident, and they're just, you know, just pictures they're depicting there. Although I kind of fatally dealt it, because there is somewhat of a backstory. In the end of the campaign, we never get the true identity of the hooded person with the purple eyes. We actually, Mr. Dark Hooded Purple Eyes. We actually never. We never learn of his identity or who he was. All we know is that he's just gone, that he just left, which is very interesting. So yeah, that's my theory for what might be behind the scenes that we don't know yet, which would be interesting. But yeah, what do you think about these informations or about these things? Have you ever seen them before? Have you actually ever thought of what they could actually have, what meaning they could have? So yeah, let me know what you think. I mean, if I haven't seen any like walkthroughs or Wikipedias or any other theories about this game, I just came up with it as I was basically playing around right now, so I don't really know much of the details in the background. I don't know if this has already been revealed, but yeah, let me know what do you guys think, and yeah, stay cool, and I'll see you later. Bye!